Hey, what's going on, guys? I got another video for you today, and this time we're going to be talking about the most evil characters within the Berserk universe. We're going to do a tier list, and we're going to rank them. Now, this is going to be a very special ranking. I got some very interesting tiers here, and I'm not going to list every single character within the Berserk universe. There's certain characters that are kind of like, similar enough where I feel like it would be a little bit redundant. So I'm picking characters that are more different, have more of a uniqueness around them. So you'll kind of see what I mean when we get there, but without further ado, let's actually get started. Alright, so the first tier we got here is the smooth brain tier. These are people that are kind of evil, but they're kind of stupid at the same time. They don't really have a lot of wits about them, and in some cases, their evilness is just kind of like, it's comical in a sense, you know what I mean? So first up, we got Adon. I mean, do I need to explain this one? I mean, yeah, he's evil. He talks about, using Casca as a toy, and just, doing anything he wants to her. But at the same time, the guy just makes so many laughable errors within the manga. He's always lying about stuff. He's always talking about the Korbowitz tradition. So yeah, he's evil, but it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like Bugs Bunny evil, you know what I mean? Then we got Julius, definitely an evil man. He planned for the assassination of Griffith, but at the same time, he couldn't think up that plan on his own. He had to have Minister Foss sort of like force feed it to him, he was very heavy-handed about that. He's like, hey, we could put some poison on a stray arrow and, problem solved. And, Julius, being the imbecile that he is, just kind of goes along with the plan. And because of that, he ended up getting himself killed in the process because he used a poison that was very expensive, only a poison that an aristocrat would be able to use or be able to afford. So it was kind of obvious who was actually going for him. So it's like, yeah, you're evil, but you made it so obvious who was trying to assassinate Griffith that it kind of did you in at the very end. So it's kind of like, well. Now, a lot of people probably aren't going to remember Zepik. He was the father of Jill back at the Misty Valley. Now, what makes him evil is that he shot Guts with a crossbow in the side, and why should a tertiary character be able to do that to Guts? I mean, come on! But in all seriousness, he would beat Jill, he would allow his friends to sort of cozy up to Jill, like it's very much implied that they would sexually assault her or possibly even rape her. There was that one night where she was hiding in her bedroom and one of his friends was kind of lumbering his way over in a drunken state. So yeah, definitely not a very good father in that regard. Again, it's not like he's killing anyone that we know of. I mean, he was trying to take down the Black Swordsman, but at the end of the day, I mean, he fought in war. It didn't sound like he was a very tough guy. It didn't sound like he was out there brutalizing or murdering people. He was a loathsome father. That's what the long and the short of it is. And then we got Zondark. Now, Zondark, definitely an evil dude. He was trying to kill Guts at one point, but it was mostly the Count. The Count infested him with that brain slug creature that took over his mind and turned him into this monstrous being, this pseudo-apostle, if you will. So it's more so the Count than anything else. I feel like Zondark was just kind of a willing patsy, you know what I mean? Alright, so now we're on the misunderstood evil. So these people definitely committed evil acts, but at the same time, I feel like if you know the whole story, you can kind of understand where they were coming from. Like, yeah, it was definitely evil, definitely not something that we would want to see in our everyday lives, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you kind of understand the justification behind it. So first one we got here is Donovan. I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, Donovan's a Chad within the Berserk universe, so, we don't really need to talk about this one. The Great Goat. Now, the Great Goat, let's be honest with ourselves here. This guy was just hosting a sex cult, and it's not like he was killing anyone. Well, I mean, they had that cannibalistic soup mixture that they gave to, Joachim. There was a finger inside the soup, but I mean, yeah, I feel like that can be forgiven. Like, we don't know exactly for sure that he was the one making the soup or killing the people involved in that soup, so I mean, well, let's let bygones be bygones. He was just a horny dude. He just wanted people to kiss his little snake dick. I shouldn't say little. That was actually a very long snake dick. And, he just wanted to have fun. He just wanted to party. I feel like this guy is just a party animal, and I feel like a lot of people just didn't understand him. Remember how they were trying to escape the cave, and like they were trying to go through this like little crack, and he got his goat horn stuck. He's like, I can't fit. Like, the dude wanted to keep the goat mask on, despite the fact that he was about to be killed. Like, he's like, nah, I can't take it off. I gotta maintain appearances. So, I feel like he was a little misunderstood. And then on a serious note, we got Rosine. Now, I understand, she was transforming children into insect-like apostles, pseudo-apostles. And when Guts ended up killing those pseudo-apostles, we saw their burning bodies. We saw their dead bodies, and it was pretty damn horrific. She basically took their humanity away from them. That being said, Rosine was probably only like 13 or 14 years old when she got turned into an apostle. So I feel like she understood what she was doing, but at the same time, she was so young and so impressionable. Like, I think about the stuff that I was doing at 18 years old, and I'm just like, God damn, I was such an idiot. And I feel like we can all have that moments in our life where we look back 5-10 years ago and we're like, oh boy, what the hell was I thinking there? So, especially with a 13 or 14-year-old girl, yeah, she's doing very horrific stuff. I mean, it doesn't absolve her of her sins, but at the same time, she was abused by her father, she felt like she had nowhere else to go, and she just wanted to be in a peaceful land with some elves, and she tried to create that paradise. Obviously, it turned into a horror experiment, but I feel like her heart was in the right place, so I would say misunderstood. And then we got Zod to round out this tier, and Zod definitely has killed a lot of people in his time. I mean, a lot of frickin' people. I mean, Jesus Christ, just look at the battlefields he's left behind. I mean, look at the Band of the Hawk when they were going into that castle. I mean, just the brutality of it. At the same time, he's not doing it out of a sense of like he just wants to kill people or the brutality of it. He's just looking for a strong opponent. Now I get it, murder is murder and it's definitely bad, but it's different from the other apostles who do it for like sadistic reasons or sexual reasons or just for the fun of it. That's not Zod whatsoever. He's always got a blank stare on his face. It's very mundane for him. He's just doing it for the thrill of potentially fighting a strong opponent. So I would say in that regard, he's kind of a little bit misunderstood. All right, so this tier is war crimes. So something you would expect to, go to jail for the rest of your life. Something pretty horrific. So the first one we got up on this list is Bascan. When I think about it, he's not that terrible of a person. I mean, he's probably less terrible than Donovan, let's be honest. But at the same time, he is killing hundreds, if not thousands of people in the battlefield. So, yeah, I would say, definitely a war crime. Foss, definitely a very devious man, plotting the assassination of Griffith. He was the brains behind Julius, and he's just a very slimy guy who's going to do whatever it takes to move up within the world and protect himself. Gambino was a terrible father, there's no other way to put it, and the fact that he was jealous of Guts, a guy who was 12, 13 years old and was killing enemy generals, and he's like, you would think after losing his leg, he would show some kind of pride and guts. Like, yeah, it's not his son, but it's kind of his pseudo-son. He took care of him, he lost Shizu at a very young age, and it's just like, that's all you had left in the world. Like, Shizu very much liked Guts, she loved Guts, and it's just like, why don't you just have some compassion for the boy, teach him the ways of the sword, just try to show a little bit of empathy. There was that one moment where he did bring Guts the medicine, but besides that, I mean, he sold Guts to Donovan for sexual pleasure. He whipped him, with his cane, and, he was bent on killing him one night. He showed up to his tent and was literally going to murder him in cold blood. So, yeah, definitely a bad dude. Now, I put Grumbeld on this list, and literally you could put Irvine, Locust, Grumbeld, Roxas. They're all kind of the same level for me. They're all apostles. They all kill, thousands of creatures and humans, and they're just all doing it for the sake of Griffith, for the sake of his dream. They went to the mansion of the spirit tree and they burned it down. They killed all the golems and flora, but they're carrying out Griffith's will nonetheless. They're going out out and burning down and destroying all these spiritual trees, getting rid of all the magic within the world, so no one can oppose Griffith in the God Hand. So definitely very evil. And then we got the Queen of Midland, and I mean, obviously she was very jealous of Griffith, didn't feel like a commoner should, be risen to the rank of general or be inducted into the aristocracy, so she took her revenge on him. Didn't work out for her, but yeah, definitely evil. You could claim that maybe she's misunderstood by the very fact that the reason she was trying to kill Griffith was because he killed Julius. And in the wake of his death, she realized that she loved him, so you could claim like maybe she's doing it more out of love than anything else, but she definitely had a black heart. Let's not kid ourselves there. So, an assassination attempt is still an assassination attempt at the end of the day. And then we got the Jeffrey Dahmer tier. I mean, these are people that take pleasure in their killing, who do very sadistic things, and it's just very reprehensible behavior. So first up, we got the female apostle, and to be honest with you, this character is probably the most similar to Jeffrey Dahmer, luring people in with sex and then killing them afterwards. I mean, obviously it's not gay sex like Jeffrey Dahmer, but it's basically the same thing. Yeah, I mean, using her looks and her sexual appeal to kill men is very devious and very reprehensible behavior. And then we got Genin, who was, exploiting and taking advantage of young men, Griffith included. Although maybe Griffith deserved that in hindsight, who knows. But yeah, just definitely. I mean, and the fact that, like, at Doldry Castle, like, all he cared about was capturing Griffith alive so he could presumably turn him into a sex slave. So, yeah, just an evil dude. Then we got the King of Midland. I mean, let's be honest, he really wasn't that bad of a guy. He just did one thing, and that one thing was just so grotesque that it's like, dude, what are you doing? He was trying to take advantage of his own daughter. The reason that he was so mad at Griffith, the reason that he put Griffith in the Midland torture chambers is because he wanted his daughter for himself. So, yeah, it's just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, and I get it, like, if you look at history, that's pretty common behavior, but it doesn't make it right. It does not make it right whatsoever. And the fact that he would whip Griffith over that and have a torturer take out his tongue and rip his flesh and break his bones and cut his tendons over that one simple act is just like, holy cow, dude, get over yourself. And then we got the Snake Baron. This guy was burning villages, eating people. There's that one shot of him where he's got like a dead person on his like halberd and he's just like licking the blood. It's just a grotesque dude, guys. And yeah, definitely deserving of this spot. Okay, and then we got the Stalin tier. So, Stalin is very famous for that quote, if you kill one person, it's a tragedy. If you kill 1,000 people, it's a statistic. And that definitely applies to all the people in this tier. First up, we got Ganishka. I mean, how many people died under his watch? The fact that he took over, Windham, and he allowed Daiba to do all his experiments, and they were turning people into Daka, monsters. It's just pretty horrific stuff. And then when he became Shiva and was just literally stepping on all his soldiers and turning them into monsters, it's just like, oh boy. And then we got Mosgus. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. I mean, people who defied him, he would have his men strap them onto a wheel and just allow them to suffer until they died on that wheel in the sun. It's just like, oh my gosh. And then not only that, but they would burn people's feet. They would use all sorts of different torture devices, Iron Maidens. I mean, they were putting Casca in an Iron Maiden, and if it wasn't for the demon child, her child, saving her at the last moment, she would have been brutally killed because of that. So, and not only evil to other people, but he was a masochist. I mean, the guy would smash his face into the ground 1,000 times in a prayer ritual. It was just like, what are you doing, dude? And then we got the counts. I mean, again, pretty self-explanatory. The guy was literally eating the people of his village, kind of similar to the Snake Baron, but I put him a little bit higher because I felt like he was ruling over more people. And when we saw him go through his Bailet ritual, when he turned into an apostle, he killed all those people. Actually, he killed all those people prior to becoming an apostle. It was just afterwards he killed his wife as well. So yeah, pretty brutal stuff. And then the final tier is the Satan tier. So these guys are not only killing thousands of people at a time, but they're doing it in such a way that it's just like, oh my god, like what, bro, like stop. Now, first one we got here is Daiba, and I'm going to say it right now, guys. Daiba is the most evil character in the Berserk universe, bar none. I know what Griffith did. We all know what Griffith did, and Daiba is still the worst. Hear me out. Daiba created the man-made Bailet. The man-made Bailet was chained together apostles that created a vat that was filled with amniotic fluid. Well, how do you get all that amniotic fluid? You take hundreds, if not thousands of pregnant women, you rip them open, and then you take the fetuses that come out and you turn them into monsters. The amount of brutality that this man did was just incomprehensible. I get that Griffith sacrificed the Band of the Hawk, but at least their deaths was sort of quick in a way. This was just like absolutely absurd what Daiba was doing. I mean, I'm spitting all over my microphone right now. It's just like, how many babies did he turn into monsters? How many women did he rip open like that? How many apostles did he torture? And then the fact that he gave Ganishka the Bailet. He set this all up from the beginning, and how did Ganishka turn into Shiva and kill all those people? It was Daiba's man-made Bailet. Not only that, he was brutalizing and killing thousands of different animals. He turned crocodiles, elephants into basically pawns. He turned them into creatures that he could bend to his own will, and I have a feeling he's going to do something very similar to Guts in the coming chapters. The guy is just absolutely evil. I mean, these are the sort of torture experiments that you hear about in Nazi Germany, where it's just like, dude, what the hell? Honestly, I should have made an extra tier higher than this, because I feel like Daiba's even worse than Satan. I feel like if Satan saw him and heard about his acts, he'd be like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Next up, we got Griffith. I mean, obviously, sacrificed the Band of the Hawk, raped Casca in front of Guts. I mean, we all know his story. I mean, he's going around and destroying all the mages of the land, so pretty bad stuff. And then to round things off, we got Wyald. I mean, let's be honest, the guy raped probably dozens, if not hundreds of women. Afterwards, he would maim them, he would cut off their arms and legs and use it as like a sign of things to come almost. He would like showcase it to the Band of the Hawk and other people just to scare them, like, yeah, this is what's going to happen to you next. And like, you can beg and you can scream, but I don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do. And that's just the long and the short of it. Like, he was absolutely an animal in apostle form. Like, most apostles act like animals, but he took it to another level. And yeah, just very brutal stuff, guys. So anyway, that's my list. That's the most evil people in the Berserk universe. Again, I didn't put everyone on here because there's some people that are very similar to others. Like I said, Grunbeld, Locust, Roxas, Irvine, they're all kind of the same kind of level of evil, I feel like. So I don't need to put them all on here. I feel like it would be a little bit redundant. But if I did forget anyone, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think of this list, and I'll catch you guys later.